That's right. I've made more money in the stock market year to date than I had in the preceding maybe 2.5 years. And that's because I was investing based on my heart. I wanted a cure for cancer. I needed a cure for cancer. My daughter died from cancer. My mother died from cancer. My father died from cancer. And so I realized it was a genetic disease and I was going to die for cancer. And in the meantime, my brother died from cancer just 2 months ago. So I was investing from my heart. And then I woke up and said, it ain't going to happen anytime soon because the FDA has to approve that. You got to focus on change that's going to happen immediately, and there is a demand for it, and that's artificial intelligence. And I realized that as a result of artificial intelligence, the internet system that we had wasn't going to be able to meet the demands that were going to be put upon it, so it had to be upgraded. And so the infrastructure of the internet had to be rebuilt. And so I opened my computer up and I looked at it and I said, who makes all these parts in here? Who's going to provide this switch and this chip and this? And I researched. And as a result, I found about 21 companies that I call the BUS13, and they're making me money. Year to date, that portfolio is up 84%. I hadn't done that since the surge after the drop from the coronavirus. So what I want to do in this video is just be open with you and say, hey, there's an opportunity here. It's a door that's opened up as they rebuild the internet, but it won't be open up forever. I think it's got a lifespan of about 2 years, and then we got to switch to bus number 12, which is who's going to deliver this new internet to us and who's going to make our lives easier as a result of artificial intelligence and machine learning. So let's dig into it, and let's maybe use, like me, when you open up your brokerage account in the morning and everything will be green. Boy, that's a lot better than everything being red.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
Okay, that little tidbit there was to say that this is not financial advice. This is Kerry just sharing his experience. I'm a retired financial advisor. I've been in this business for a long time. And it's funny, when you do something long enough, you start to figure it out. And it's a rigged game. I mean, this Super Macro Computer Incorporated is up year to date about 400%. How? And there are some of us who are reaping the benefits of that, but the majority are not. The majority are still hanging on Jim Cramer's every word about what Jerome Powell's going to do. Hell, that doesn't make any difference. They have to replace these computers. Listen to Google's earnings call. And in the last 30 seconds of the prepared information, the CFO, a young lady, Ruth, I think was her first name, basically said, hey, we've got to explain to you that we're going to have some extraordinary expenses this quarter and coming quarters and into 2024 as we rebuild our infrastructure. What's their infrastructure? It's computers. It's their data centers. Then she says, we've had a delay on the building of some of our new data centers. What's that all about? More computers, more super micro incorporated computers. So it's up some 500% over the last year. It'll be up probably another 500% because not only Google's having to do that, but Facebook's having to do it because they have data centers, and Microsoft and Apple. And then wait, we've got India and Africa coming online. Europe's already there, and they're going to have to update their computers as well. And with all this data that's going to be flowing back and forth, we're going to have to build data centers in India and Africa and Europe because our data centers are going to do have all they can do just to keep up with you and I's needs. Well, what are you and I's needs going to be different? Well, the whole experience that you're going to have on the internet is going to be totally different. It's not going to be stagnant. You're going to ask your car dealer, your Amazon. You'll go to Amazon and you'll ask them, well, I see all these products you're putting up there in front of me and all my choices. Let me tell you, Amazon, how I want to use this product, and then you tell me which one fits my needs the best. And then give me the pros and cons on each of these so I can make a better decision, Amazon. You will do that on every frigging website that you go to. Well, that's data. That's data coming from there to here to there and back. And that takes computing power. And a CPU chip isn't going to do it. That's why NVIDIA's stock is up 200% year to date. That's how this is happening. And why am I reaping the benefit? I'm not very smart. I'm dyslexic. I have difficulty reading. I'm old. I have difficulty remembering. But damn it, can I connect the dots? When I see that this stock is up and I look at it and I say, what do they do? Well, they make parts for a computer, and I open my computer up and I say, there it is. There's its name right there. So let me take you to my BUS13 portfolio on my computer and show you the names that I found and how I've tracked them and how I've built the research to say, is this a flash in the pan or is it going to go on? And then how I track it on a regular basis. Let's go to the computer. Okay, here it is. This is the BUS13 portfolio, and this is how I display it on the Discord, and we'll be displaying it by the end of this week on the Best of Us Investors website for our Patreon Plus or our Premium Plus and Platinum subscribers. So what I want you to focus on, though, is here you have the names of the stocks. What I've then done is try to build a history of their consistency of delivering good returns, and such as you got Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, NVIDIA, and this is what they've returned over the period of time going back from 1999 through 2023. This is their average return. So if you had invested in Apple $1,000 in 1999 and just left it there, you would have averaged per year 45%. And then you can see they had some down years. Those are represented in yellow. And then as we moved further and closer to this rebuild, I expanded it beyond the big six, and I have then identified the companies who are going to be making these computers to upgrade the data centers, and eventually you're going to upgrade your computer. So with that in mind, that's where I've been putting my money this year. And so what I want you to focus then on is this orange line. And let me bring that a little bit closer so you can see it. This is what Apple's returned year to date, Microsoft, Amazon, and let's skip over here to my favorite stock, SMCI. If you don't know what that is, you better find out. They've returned up year to date somewhere in the neighborhood of 260%. And Meta's 155. AEHR 137. INTT 103. So that's what I have done. And that's how I've made more money year to date than I had in the preceding 2 years. And do I believe this is going to continue? Well, if you will listen to Google's earnings call in the last 30 seconds of the prepared materials, their CEO explained to the shareholders, we're going to have some extraordinary expenses over the next 2 years as we rebuild our infrastructure, data centers, computers, and build new data centers. So Do I think this is going to keep on that pace? What is it? Its average for the portfolio is 84.35%, where the S&P is at 18%. I'm feeling pretty good about it, actually. Okay, there you have it. That's my full disclosure. That's how I've made more year to date than I did the preceding 2.5 years in the stock market, because I gave up investing from my heart, and I started investing from logic, connecting the dots. The internet isn't going to be able to handle artificial intelligence, and for God's sake, what happens when machine learning comes? So it's going to have to be rebuilt. Again, this is not something that will go on forever. Once it's done until it needs to be done again, and I'll be on top of that. So then we will switch, or we're already switching, we're already building BUS13, and that's the people who are going to deliver this artificial intelligence and machine learning in the form of different types of websites and the internet of everything. It's going to affect every part of our life. And then from that period, then we're going to start breaking up the cartels. What are you talking about, Kerry? Are you talking about illegal drug trafficking in the United? No, I'm talking about our medical system that is all about keeping us the most expensive medical system in the world, and specializing on health care rather than health cure. And then once we get that done, then we're going after the education cartel. You know, that's those brick and mortar buildings that charge my grandkids $50,000 a year to come get an education that doesn't end up with a job. Okay, that cartel has to be broken up as well. So we've got a lot of work in front of us, but that is it. If you recognize this work has to be done, then all you have to do is basically invest in the companies that are going to make it better. You know, we have a banking cartel as well. Are you aware of that? Call your bank and ask them to do anything for you, and ask them if you could move $50,000 from this account of yours to that account of yours, and they'll say, no, you can't do that. You've got to come into the office because we need to sit down with you and make sure you're not a drug dealer. Oh, wait a second. I've been a client of yours since 1965. Yeah, they're cartels. We think of that as only drugs, but no. We got the education cartel, we've got the healthcare cartel, we got the banking cartel, and then for God's sakes, we've got this government cartel. Hell, we got a guy standing in front of a mic who freezes up for 19 seconds because he's so damn old. He doesn't know where he is, and he's running the show up there. Come on, we got to break these cartels up. Let's work on it together. Come on, get on the bus, and I'll share my other portfolios and the dots that I'm going to connect in the future.